All right, everybody, we're back on the tight end grind. We want to finish before the end of the day. I think we'll be able to get there. So let's just go ahead and jump right in and not waste any time. We've got Dallin Holker on the list now, Colorado State. 24 years old when the season starts. He's another one of these tight ends that is a little bit undersized, might end up being more of a slot tight end, like a big slot type. 6'3", 241 pounds. Got nice long arms, though, 33 and 5/8, 10 and a quarter inch hands. The testing was rough. He was slow, ran almost a 4.840. That's Will Dissly territory. 1.66 10-yard split is really rough. Not very explosive. He did have a nice broad jump, I guess, 10 foot 2 inch broad. The three cone jumps off the page, so the change of direction skills are there. The ability to turn on a dime is there, 94th percentile, and the 20-yard shuttle 4.21 is actually really good for a tight end as well. So mixed bag at the combine. And the big boards mostly have him in like the 5th round, but if you include everything in the aggregate, it drops down to like the 6th. So probably a 5th or 6th round guy at the end of the day. This guy stands out mostly because of his production. He was very productive at Colorado State. Last year had almost 800 yards, 64 catches in just 12 games, 6 touchdowns. One of the most productive tight ends in the country. So he's a good athlete in terms of his ability to change a direction, move on the field. His ability to run routes at the NFL level should be good, even though he's not fast or quick. He's got a big catch radius as well. His long arms and his ball skills combine to make him dangerous in going to get balls that are a little bit off target. Great versatility in how he's utilized. I think that at Colorado State, he was lined up in the slot and lined up in line almost equivalently. I think that it was almost equal what he did in both roles. He has great hands. He's a capable blocker against second and third level defenders in space. So if you have him blocking from the slot, if you have him blocking downfield, I think you're going to have good things. He's also a really good guy at bringing down contested catches. Bringing down balls in traffic is something that he can do even though he's not that big. He's somebody who really knows how to fight for the ball and go for the ball. He still needs to improve a little bit running routes. I think that the ability is there, as represented by something like a 3-cone or a 20-yard shuttle, but the actual route running on a football field during a football game needs to improve. He doesn't have the size or strength to block in the trenches, so if you have him as an inline blocker, he's going to get bullied. He struggles to make plays after the catch. He's not somebody who's going to do a lot of stuff after he gets the ball in his hands. He's going to be more of a chain mover. He needs to refine his technique as a blocker. He whiffs a little too much when he's even in space. If he's going to be able to do it at the NFL level, has to improve. So there's a lot of work that needs to be done here for sure. He's definitely a raw tight end that you probably wouldn't expect very much from in a rookie year. But I do think that he would over time develop to something really good. So if you bring him on as like tight end 3 for the first year and you work on him during the practice week, I think that he would blossom into a not starting tight end, but a playable tight end beyond what we've seen from him in college. Even though he was productive in college, I'm just saying that stuff won't necessarily translate immediately. But if you take him in the 6th round or later and develop him, I think you're going to be pretty happy with what you get out of it. So I like Dallin Holker about as much as the aggregate does, maybe a little bit more, but not quite as much as an ESPN big board seems to. So that's Holker. We're moving on now. Next guy is A.J. Barner of Michigan, and this is a pure blocker. A.J. Barner of Michigan is a pure blocking tight end. 22 years old, 6'6", 251 pounds. Nice long arms, 33 and 3/8 inches, 9-inch hands. Big boards mostly have him in that 5th round range, which I imagine is probably the case. These pure blocking tight ends should probably go in that range. Like last year, I think it was the Dallas Cowboys took a Schoonmaker in the 2nd round. Which, I mean, why are you taking a blocking tight end that high? A guy like A.J. Barner, who I think is going to be about as good as Schoonmaker in the NFL, is going to go probably in the 5th, at best the 4th round. Like that's way better. That's much better value. And, you know, so last year he didn't even catch a pass and a half a game. Played in 15 games, 22 catches, 250 yards and a touchdown. In 2022, he was actually significantly more productive. He averaged almost 3 catches a game, 3 touchdowns. But either way, not really much of a receiver, and that's not his game. That's not what he's going to do in the NFL. He's a great inline blocker already. He should get better in the coming years when he adds strength and improves some of the like hand placement. He's a hard worker. He's known to be a hard worker in that Michigan program who will definitely push to improve himself and get better over time. His size and his arm length give him a big catch radius, so when you do throw him the ball, he will be able to go get it. He will be able to go dig it out. He offers a wide target for any quarterback. He's also good at working off script. So when the play breaks down and the quarterback's scrambling around, he's good at keeping the play alive and finding the place to get open. So there is some stuff with his pass catching ability that you like. And he's good at utilizing his size to win at the point of the catch. So contested catches, he can win those. He does need to improve some areas of his blocking. There is some lack of refinement there. His lack of speed and athleticism is undeniable. So I don't think he'll ever be a great pass catcher. I don't even think he'll be what Will Dissly was when Dissly first came out. Maybe he'll be like Will Dissly was the last few years, but not too much beyond that. He'll never be a downfield playmaker either. He's not going to be somebody who catches like 9 routes or vertical routes or post routes or things like that. He'll be a chain mover. He'll be somebody who catches short passes. He'll be somebody who brings the ball in on a 3rd and 3 to get the first down. And you certainly need players like that, but just understand what you're getting here. And he does have the occasional, I would call it like a focus drop, I think. I think that can get better. I think that can improve. But his hands are not great. His catch radius is great. His effort is great. His ability to fight through contested coverage to make a tough catch is great. But he does have the occasional drop that we don't need to be dealing with. So great blocking tight end who's going to provide limited value in the passing game. But that kind of thing is necessary in the NFL. You need guys like that. As long as you have the right expectations, I think he's going to be an important part of your team. I would be willing to go after him in the 5th round or beyond if that's what it took. We need tight ends. We need blocking tight ends. We need every kind of tight end. If we get a guy like this in the 5th round and we're paying him less than $1 million a year for the next 4 years, we did well for ourselves if he becomes a quality blocker, even if he only catches like 1 pass a game or even like less than that. Like, this role is important, and this role is getting harder and harder to fill because more and more tight ends every year seem like they're just all about pass catching. Okay, one more guy for this video. It's Erick All of Iowa, and he's going to be tough because he missed basically all of 2022, and then he missed half of 2023. So we don't have a full picture here with Erick All of Iowa. Working with what we do have, however, we know he's going to be 23 when the season starts. The size is pretty good. 6'4", 252 pounds. He's got 33-inch arms. That's nice. 10 and an 1/8 inch hands, which good enough for sure. So he's got tight end size. We can say that. The only big board I found that has him getting drafted that's major is ESPN. They actually have him in the 5th. The mock draft database has him in the 6th, but I found some other big boards that had him going undrafted like PFF and CBS. Last year in 7 games, I mean, it wasn't terrible, right? 3 catches a game, 300 yards, 3 touchdowns. I mean, okay, that's good per game. And in 2021, when he was very young, by the way, this was, years ago. This was 3 years ago. 13 games, 38 catches, 437 yards, 2 touchdowns. That's good for a guy who's that young. But again, we are parsing things out as a projection, right? This is tough. We didn't get to see this guy hardly at all in 2022. I think he played 3 games and barely did anything. Pretty good athlete for his size. He didn't test at the combine, but he is a good athlete on the field. He's a vertical field stretcher. He's somebody who goes deep down the field and makes big plays, 20-plus yards from the line of scrimmage. Dangerous as a vertical threat. Pretty good route runner as well. When he was on the field, he was a good route runner. Gets a lot of yards after the catch. So this is a guy who can affect the game at all levels of the field. You can give him short stuff and tell him to go get yards after the catch, or you can throw it to him deep. He's a good blocker in space, so if you use him as a lead blocker or a pull blocker, he'll probably do well. He's very explosive when he comes out of his stance. He gets up to top speed very quickly. He's probably not going to be a very good blocker in the trenches because he doesn't have the size or strength to do it. You ask him to block a defensive end, he's going to get bullied. You ask him to try to handle a guy one-on-one from an inline position, it's probably not going to go well. I will say that. He's been injured too much in his career for you to feel comfortable about. He suffered multiple mega-sized injuries. So that's going to make it tough to really feel comfortable with him. He does drop too many passes for a guy who's mostly a playmaking tight end. Physical press coverage seems to eat him up, so he's going to have to learn how to beat press, because in the NFL he'll probably be facing that more than he did in college. His top speed is not very fast. He's a pretty good athlete overall, and he does do some things to stretch the field, but in terms of actually building speed, even at top speed, it's not very good. So in the NFL, I wonder if that stuff is going to be as available to him. And he doesn't do very well against zone. He drifts into coverage. That's something that comes up a few times when you watch him. So you wonder what he'll be able to do with the NFL. So I don't know. I'm not really feeling this one. A lot of concerns here. His basic fundamentals are lacking. His injuries are concerning. And right now I don't know what this guy's going to be able to do. He's not a very good blocker. He drops too many passes, can't beat press, doesn't really seem to have a great understanding of how to find the holes in zone. So downfield abilities put him in like the 7th round for me. I won't go higher than that. I'm not too interested in taking this guy before the 7th round. And that's it for this video. We're going to do another tight end video a little bit later to start to wrap it up. So let me know what you guys think about this collection. Erick All, AJ Barner, and Dallin Holker. Interesting, eclectic group of tight ends here. Do you want any of them to become Seattle Seahawks? See you guys later. Go Hawks.